when I recording, I don't know how long the chapter will be, uh, but I try to hold it in. If it's going a long time, I try to cut it around 1 hour. That's the longest to recording, but how short it will be, I don't know. I have changed my name to Anna Virginius, and Anna, it's the only name. I don't need more than one name, and that Anna, and that is my real name. I was baptized into Anna. So, and Virginius, it's my father had that last name, but before we have the name Nilsson. But my father had that middle name, Virginius. I don't know why, because it's not Swedish. And then he took it as his last name or surname. And when he died, I was thinking that it's sad if the last name, the surname, will be lost. So I took it. I was allowed to do that, as it was my father. And but it seems like it is from Baltic, and when I do this DNA search, is it surprising? Is it on my mother's side, Virginius, in the last name, the short name? There is people there on my mother's family tree, but maybe my father is somewhere going into that, and it was the last name or short name once for a long time ago. But there is in Baltic countries Virginius, and just now is it about Vilnius, that is almost look like my last name. It's about this, about NATO in the European political things, but I am not political, so I'm not going to talk about that. It's something else that have been on my heart to talk about, and this is the question. I don't really have the answer for it, or maybe I have the answer for it. I will see where it's going, and maybe there is a spirit touch me that make me understand it better. But I'm going to talk about the passed away of your pets, animals, those animals that you have been in touch with, that is very close to your heart. And we are many that have these pets, remember them with love. And there is people asking if the animals is in heaven. Are we going to meet them in heaven? Those that we have been close to, that we have had as a family member. are we going to meet them? And I'm going to start to talk about, I don't know if I have talked about this in those first chapter of the podcast I have done, but it's okay to repeat it because it's coming new things around it. I had it was about 2005 when I have going around with this home for homeless people here in Sweden, and I got a real apartment 2005. It took me only 1 year to receive a real apartment. They told me that it should take me 10 years to go through the whole, all these papers and all these tests on me if I could live in a normal apartment. But after 1 year I got it. And it was not a very nice apartment, but it was a real apartment. And I had some people coming to me in this apartment, and it was the man that have lived there in this apartment before me, and he had been very aggressive and make hole in the walls that my landlord fix it so it's be okay. And I find knives upstairs I had this storage unit. There was stored some things from the apartment, and I found many knives. And I suppose that it was this man's wife that have hid knives. And he had passed away, so she had moved to another place after his passed away. But this man did come in the night and stood and looked at me. I wake up and saw him standing and look at me when I was sleeping. And I asked, he was from Yugoslavia, and I asked my neighbors that was from Yugoslavia, and I told them how he looked like, and they say they confirm it was he that lived before in the apartment. And then one day I should take a shortcut over a graveyard cemetery to the hospital, and then was it someone like knocking on my shoulder and want me to turn around and go back to where I had been walking. So I did that, and then I saw the picture of him on a grave, and that's what they do in the Catholic Church, that they put picture of those that have passed away. We don't do that in Sweden, and that is a subject I should talk about also. We don't do that in Sweden, but they had done it, and I saw it was this man that have standing at my bed and look down at me. And so he wanted me to recognize him. And I never did that later on. It was only one time I did it. I go to his grave. And then it was very much going on in that apartment. It was because it was like an open door to everything, both good and bad things. Because that apartment had been for people that have died and crazy people, mental sick people. And so I had some birds. I have budgies. I like to have blue budgies, or if there I could find a lilac of them. But I had once 4 budgies, and I bought food for them, special food for them in a bag, and I gave them this, and they died, all of them. It was some poison in it, and they died, all of them, and I feel very sorry for them because they were very young. They were not adults yet, and I have just bought them. But it was this food I gave them that killed them. And then I bought 2 other birds, budgies, and they were tamed, so they come and sit on my shoulder, and they were flying in my apartment for free. Only when I should sleep, I let them go in a locked cage and put a blanket on them. And I started to be tired of those birds and everything that flying in the room. So it was a couple that bought them, and they killed them by giving them donuts. That's not the bird things. The woman in that family was mental sick. I didn't know that. She look and talk normal when she bought the birds. But then I was to their home to say, visit my birds that I have sold. I wanted to see how they felt, and those 2 had eggs together when I had them, and they got some baby budgies, but they died, the baby budgies. So that crazy woman, she wanted to have that they should lay egg and have babies, and she disturbed them so very much, and then she gave them wrong food, so they be killed. And sometimes I in the night or in the early morning I wake up and I saw like budgies coming out from a hole, in the air. It was like they coming from afterlife into my room and to my bed and visit me. And they did it more than one time. They come and visit me for many times, until it was like ending of it. But for a little while they come. And then I got cats. And it was once when my cat was in heat. She was screaming for a male cat. And suddenly one morning or night I saw a cat walking in the ceiling. It was like it was a path to walk on under the ceiling, but it wasn't. But it was a spirit path. And that cat was walking there. And he looked almost like my cat. But I saw it was another cat. So it seems like he heard my cat screaming for a male cat. So he come through from afterlife, because it was not a real cat, it was a spirit cat that was walking. And I think because it come one night a woman into my bedroom and with red hair. I didn't know in that time that I had DNA matches in Ireland, Scotland, those places where it is very much red-haired people. And she come into my bedroom, and she'll walk around and look on the floor like she was looking for something. And I had just had this cat coming in, and I assume that she was looking for the cat. And but the cat walk back to the afterlife. So the woman, I suppose the woman got this cat back. And it was in that time, that Sunday morning, I had a painter that he was fixing this apartment of this with a hole in the wall and things, make it nice, painting. And there was a man standing in my bedroom. I wake up and look at this man, and he had a white hat on his head, and he was very, very, very slim. And then he had a red-orange short jacket, like they have in Spain, for example, this matador doing with the bulls like that kind of jacket. And then I think it was white long pants on him. And he stood in the room, and I was thinking that was freaking bad that is coming into my bedroom without saying anything. The painter. I was thinking, I saw it was not the same painter, but I was thinking it was another painter that should work in my apartment. But I thought I was angry. I got angry because he didn't knock on the door or say anything. He only stood there in my bedroom and looked at me. And then suddenly he turned around and he was gone. He didn't go out in the door. He was only gone in the air. So I knew it was not a real person. And I knew that Swedish worker doesn't work on Sundays. And this was Sunday morning. And he was only standing and look at me and smiling. Almost a little like playful smiling. And I knew it was a spirit that entered in my bedroom. And it was full of light. And I think today that I should not could sleep in a room when it's... Today I can it when I'm old, but when I was younger I never could sleep in a room that was full of light. So that light must have come from the spirit world. And but I went up as he wake me up. So it have been animals coming out from the spirit world. So the answer of do we meet our loving pets, animals in heaven? And it seems like they could come into my world in that time. And it was this in United States also, when I was homeless. At the hotel there was a black cat that was very shy. No one owns that cat, but the cat come into the hotel, and the owner of the hotel gave this cat food. So I was in there at the hotel, and the black cat, it was a young black cat, and I caressed the cat. He was not frightened about me. And the hotel owner, he was surprised that I could take on that cat without he ran away. And then I was in my hotel room, and it was on the ground. It was no stairs. It was total on the ground. And I felt one day when I was laying in the bed and rest that someone was outside my door. And so I go and open the door to see who is on my door. And then suddenly I saw a shadow of a cat running into my bed. And I let the the shadow of the cat laying in my bed, and it was a little heavy mark of something in my bed. And I rest, and then I go to the hotel and the hotel owner, and I should do something, walking out, and I should leave the key to him. And he say to me, "Do you know that cat that was here, and you pet that cat yesterday? I find the cat dead this morning," he say. So I knew the spirit of the cat had been on my door and come in and laying there. And I don't know how, if it's going with me, but I maybe lost it on my way as being homeless. And so that cat come in after his death, and I was going to say something about another pet that have coming through like that, and so I can just now I can only give you a half answer, that they are in the spirit world in some way. I can't say that on the meadow that I have seen in heaven that there is animals that go walking around in the meadow, and people are running and playing and laughing there, and there is animals. I can't say that. It's maybe is a spirit is touching me now. It's saying this. They are not with us in heaven. They are in a parallel world to heaven, and they can penetrate those layers. Some of these pets and animals can penetrate these layers so they can come into heaven, but they can never stay there. They are coming there for a short time to visit you. So that it is not that the animals is there in heaven in that way that we want them to be, but they can visit us. That's how they visit me for a short time, but they didn't stay with me. So this is, and if you have a very strong connection with your pets, animals, then they can likely penetrate and come into to heaven to visit you. They can visit, but they can't stay there. That's what the Spirit is telling me now. So I thank for help to get the answer. The answer is that they don't stay with you the whole time in heaven, but they can come and visit you, because they live in a parallel world where all the animals are. So I hope it can help someone to understand and be comfort that your loving pet is there, but not it's only a day in heaven, but they are coming coming into heaven for a short time to visit you, to make you understand that they are there. And sometimes you can feel the spirit of your pets on the side of your body, or when you're laying down and rest, and you think about your pets and that you had before, and you can feel that pressure of their body or pound on your body, that they are very close to you. They are not just there, but they are with you. And sometimes they can come in and visit you. That's the answer. So I understand it. And now I got the answer because of this spirit that touched me. I understand what happened when I maybe have told you about the horses, where I was to look at the school for some children to ride the horses, and in this house they have and walk around in, and then suddenly I fall to sleep when I sit and wait for this training on horses should stop, because I had a child, two child I waiting for to end the class, and suddenly I wake up and find all the horses stood and look at me, and the trainer say, screaming, what are you doing there? She was screaming, angry at them. And one of the child said, we didn't do anything. The horses was going here. We couldn't do anything. They only wanted to go here. And all the horses was there at me. And I am not a lover of horses. I'm a little scared of horses, but they were looking at me when I wake up. And I understand what it is about. It's about afterlife. It's about that those in afterlife that is connected with me, they have had good hands with horses. And they were, when I fall to sleep, they took me out from the earth, and they come by themselves, the spirits, and was with me, and the horses knew they were there, those that took care of horses in the past, and maybe in the afterlife they knew that. That's why I'm wondering why the horses did that to me. But it was that the spirit in those in the afterlife, they make me fall to sleep. I will sit on a chair and fall to sleep, and they took over. So that's what they can do and have done to us sometimes, that they take over. So we don't have that control. They can make you fall to sleep, and suddenly you do something that you maybe not should have done on yourself, but they make you do it. So they affect our world very much. So those say, you say, what happened? Why did they be interested in me? What's going on here? I have never had any contact with them before, but certainly I have that contact. Let me say that it's not only about horses or living creature like that, but that is not earthly thing. It's a spirit thing. And I hear someone say, aha, now I understand it. Now you understand things that you can't explain, and you can't understand it because it's a spirit thing. It's not in the control of the earth. It's in the control of heaven. So it was different from what I thought it should be about. I knew I should talk about those pets and animals if they are in heaven. So now we have got the answer of it. So I thank you, you that in afterlife, you that is here, that in the spirit touch me, and I understand it. So God bless you, and I'm happy to give you, not me giving you answer, because it was heaven that gave you answer of this question.